Hello, everybody. I'm Menopause Barbie, your menopause tailor, bringing you the state of menopause in the world today. And while my focus is on menopause, much of what I teach is not just specific to menopause. The last few tutorials on this radio broadcast have been on dietary aspects of menopause in particular, but on nutrition in general. And that got me thinking about nutrition in the general sense, which led me to what I'm going to present to you today. This is going to be on nutrition myths. I thought it would be good to address nutrition myths. Believe it or not, much of what you think about nutrition is not accurate. Some of it is just plain mythical. So I'm going to discuss some general nutrition myths. Now, these will not be entirely new to you, but their mythical aspects may be. I'm going to use a format in which I present the myth, and then I'll tell you the truth, and then I'll explain the truth. So myth number one. Myth number one is that you should have all things in moderation. The truth is that you should eat some things in abundance, some things sparingly, and some things never. And here's the explanation. Have you ever given thought to the word moderation? If you look that word up in the dictionary, it means without excess. And if you look up the word excess, it means extreme in quantity. But who gets to define what's moderate? And who defines what constitutes excess? In the case of your eating habits, you get to decide. And if you're the one eating things to a degree that you consider moderate, and you're the one deciding what constitutes excess, chances are you're doing so subjectively. What's moderate to one person is excessive to another. So who's right? Do you see the problem? It's just too subjective. The myth of all things in moderation is designed to make you feel good about yourself. It's designed to keep you from feeling guilty about your eating behavior. It is not designed to force you to adhere to an objective, quantifiable standard. It's vague, and you can make it mean whatever you want it to mean. So let's take chocolate. We all love chocolate, right? How much chocolate can I eat to qualify for eating it in moderation? If I just eat one piece, am I eating it in moderation? What about 2 pieces? 3? What if I eat a whole bar of chocolate or a whole box of chocolates? Is that moderate or is it excessive? Moderate or excessive compared to what? And does moderation refer to my daily intake of chocolate, or does it cover the whole week? If I eat a piece of chocolate every day, is that moderate or excessive? And if it's okay to eat everything in moderation, does that mean I should include the things in my diet that are scientifically proven to be detrimental to my health? Animal products have a slow transit time that results in a heart attack and cancers. So if I should eat all things in moderation, should I include them? Do you see the problem with this mantra? It makes absolutely no sense. It sets you up for failure by making you think that whatever you do is fine. Everything in moderation is not fine, and you will not be fine if that's what you do. Learn the facts about food and don't kid yourself about how harmful or harmless certain foods are. Okay, myth number 2 is it's fine to cheat once in a while. The truth is, if something isn't good for you, it's never good for you. It has nothing to do with frequency. And this brings us back to defining the term. What in the world does once in a while mean? How long is a while? Is it a lifetime? If so, is it finding everything once no matter how bad it is for you? Or is once in a while every year? Or maybe just once a month? Or maybe it's every day? Do you see how arbitrary that term is? Every person would define it differently. And each person is defining it for him or herself. So when you take an arbitrary term and let each person define it subjectively to suit him or herself, it loses all meaning. If something isn't good for you, it's never good for you, period. So eating it once in a while is not okay. It's a fallacy to think that it is. Okay, myth number 3 is that animal protein is high quality protein while vegetable protein is not. The truth is that vegetable protein is higher in quality no matter how you measure quality. The notion that animal protein is in any way good for you is a complete fallacy. But if you live in a land of affluence that can afford to have meat and dairy as a part of the diet, you've been brainwashed to believe that it is. And that's because the economy in your affluent country depends on that belief and your animal eating habits to remain rich. Part of that brainwashing entails leading you to believe that animal protein is actually good for you. Nothing could be farther from the truth. Here are the facts. Ingestion of animal protein results in heart attack, cancers, diabetes, slow digestion, constipation, and obesity. Whereas ingestion of plant protein results in higher fiber intake, lower cholesterol, prevention of cancers, high levels of vitamins and minerals, rapid digestion, lean muscle mass, increased energy, and clear skin. The goofy notion that animal protein is superior to plant protein in any way at all is completely upside down. No, just a minute. Just do another video. There is not a single thing about animal protein that is better than plant protein. This myth has been stretched so far that most people don't even know that plants contain protein. They believe they have to eat animal products to get protein. See, this is so shocking. If cows only eat grass and you're eating the cow for its protein, where in the world do you think the cow got its protein? Myth number 4 is that low-fat, high-fiber foods include animal products and dairy products. The truth is that there is high fat and no fiber in animal and dairy products. You see, there are 2 sources of fat. There's animal fat and there's vegetable fat. The animal fat is completely unhealthy and the vegetable fat is completely healthy. Animal fats clog your arteries. Vegetable fats clear your arteries. While there are some fats in fish that are good for you, those same fats are also present in plants. You do not need any animal fat, period. Okay, so what about fiber? Well, fiber is to a plant what the skeleton is to an animal. So just as the skeleton holds up the animal, the fiber holds up the plant. But when you eat meat, you don't eat the skeleton. All you get is the muscle and the fat. On the contrary, when you eat a plant, you get all the fiber along with vitamins and minerals, but only the good fat. So low fat, high fiber really means plants, period. But the meat and dairy industries don't want you to know that. So they substitute the term low fat, high fiber for the word plants. It's really terribly deceptive. You've never learned the truth, and it's all because of the mighty dollar. So if you really want low fat, just don't eat anything with a face or a mother. And if you really want high fiber, eat plants. Okay, myth number 5 is that organic products are safe, uncontaminated, and unadulterated. But the truth is that organic simply means farmed without synthetic substances. So the term organic has more to do with preservation of the environment than it does with the actual food itself. And yet you've been led to believe that as long as something is organic, it's just harmless. You see, there are all sorts of junk foods that are organic. And the word organic does not mean that the food is not genetically modified. Organic is a word that has gotten very out of hand. Not only is it misleading, it's also non-specific. It means that the farmers don't use some of the conventional synthetic pesticides, but the standards for qualifying as organic are fairly vague. Do not assume that organic means harmless. So here are the facts about organic produce. It is 20 to 40% healthier, but it's 40% more expensive. And eating more produce, period, is more important than eating more organic produce. Myth number 6 is that dairy products are good for you. The truth is that dairy is something you were only supposed to ingest until you were weaned from breast milk. And after that, it has absolutely no benefits and multiple risks. As I explained a couple of broadcasts ago on dairy, there is no other animal on earth that continues to ingest dairy beyond weaning. You see, Mother Nature made it so that you are supposed to lose the enzymes to digest dairy. That's why so many adults have difficulty digesting dairy. And it's why the dairy industry makes lactate products and lactose-free products. They've already brainwashed you into believing that dairy is good for you. But when your body starts revolting with gas, bloating, diarrhea, and abdominal pain because you keep on filling it with dairy products that you can't digest, the dairy industry makes a whole line of products to get you to keep on ingesting it. There is not one single nutrient in dairy that you need. Green leafy veggies have tons more calcium. All dairy has is fat, and that's why you needed it when you were a newborn. Back then, you needed to gain weight, but now you don't. And the only dairy you needed was your mom's breast milk. It had the right quantities of calories and fat to grow a human baby. Cow milk has the right quantity of fat and calories to grow a cow. And if you keep ingesting dairy products from a cow, you'll increase your chances of getting as big as a cow. So there you have it, 6 nutrition myths that can really mislead you. As you can see, some of them are just so subjective, arbitrary, vague, or backward that they really set you up for failure. So when you hear things like these myths, please stop and think about them. I mean, do they really make any sense? Usually they really don't. Usually right off the bat you can see that they just don't make sense. Stick with the facts and be sure you don't make your own rules. Remember, you can still do whatever you want, but do it knowing the facts. And don't